Hello, my underwhelming legacy support. I'm Vampire Ian, and welcome to Batty Decks, the series where I give you a profile on a deck that I brewed up on a whim for your entertainment. So, I made a YouTube short about the Gate Guardian support being kind of disappointing, and a lot of commenters decided to disagree with me, which is not allowed. I've seen a lot of stuff now of people trying to make them work, so I figured I'd give these cards a shot. And another. And another. And a couple more. That's right, we're doing a Gate Guardian streak, where I show you 5 different Gate Guardian decks that I built based on even the most minute of synergies. First, I present to you what I am charitably calling pure Gate Guardian. Let's check it out. So here's the deck. For those who don't know, Gate Guardian is a new archetype based on very old cards, made famous by the first season of the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime where it was played by 2 white guys doing racist accents called the Paradox Brothers, Para and Dox, or Labba and Rinth in Japanese. The 3 pieces, Kazujin, Suijin, and Song of the Thunder, who is the only one who has a title, I assume to avoid copyright infringement of some kind, are all level 7 monsters with protection effects that combine together into the titular Gate Guardian. In the anime, this monster was a formidable foe, holding its own against both Joey and Yugi in the anime's first tag duel, and having all of the effects of the pieces that made it up. In the card game, though, it has none of that. It's a main deck monster that requires all 3 pieces to be on field, and tributed to summon what is essentially a vanilla monster with a worse stat line than Blue Eye's Ultimate Dragon. A while ago, though, Konami announced that they would be creating retrains for Gate Guardian to make it more playable. After a long while of hyping up the cards and delivering nothing, they announced the new set Maze of Memories, which finally introduced the new Gate Guardian support to the world. And it's ABC. The archetype consists of several different fusion monsters that are different combinations of the original Gate Guardian pieces that are made by Contact Fusion. They also have some other support cards, mostly spells and traps based on the other cards the Paradox Brothers played, like Labyrinth Wall, the Wall Shadow, Ryoku, and Jiraigumo. All of which are designed to help us get these cards on the field or in the hand, since the big boss can be made with pieces in hand or grave. All in all, they aren't the worst cards ever printed. In fact, I'd instead call them mid, but they certainly don't live up to the hype, and they're a little bit disappointing regardless of what my YouTube comments say. Since they are fusion cards though, we can combine them with other fusion support and throw in one of the best fusion monsters ever printed, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, thus making it a little bit of a hero deck too, but not any more so than most of the meta decks while Verte Anaconda and DPE were legal at the same time. With that context, let's look a little closer with a card by card. Let's start with the Gate Guardian cards. We're of course running the pieces 1 Sangha, 2 Suijin, and 2 Kazujin. Since Suijin and Kazujin have the best combination, we run 2 of them, but we don't want to draw too many pieces, so we only play 1 Sangha. We play 1 Ryoku. This card can come up in a pinch, but it is searchable, so we only need the 1. The same goes for double attack Wind and Thunder, and Prey of the Jiraigumo as well. We run 3 Heavy Tank to set our pieces, 3 Shadow Ghoul to search the 3 field spell. The field spell sets the pieces as well, and it's not a hard once per turn either. You can use this over and over again. For tech cards specific to our Gate Guardian package, we do have a lot. We have the Terraforming to search the field spell, of course. This play is actually pretty cool. We have 3 A Hero Lives and 2 Prisma to search off of it. This card can reveal Gate Guardian combined to send any of the Gate Guardian pieces to grave in order to copy their name, meaning we both set up pieces in the graveyard for combined and get them on field for the smaller fusions. Prisma counts for contact fusions. An additional synergy is that A Hero Lives costs us life points, which also turns on Ryoku for extra synergy. 3 fusion deployment also allows us to get our pieces on the field for the cost of locking us into fusions. 3 Magician Souls and 2 Illusion of Chaos allow us to summon a body for free while also sending Kazujin, which is a spellcaster for some reason, to the grave. We can also use Magician Souls' other effects to send Gate Guardian pieces from our spell and trap zones to the grave in order to draw cards while still using them for Gate Guardian combined. We also have our little Fusion Destiny package just to increase our ceiling just a little bit. We have 3 Fusion Destiny, 2 Malicious, and 1 Denier as our targets to make what else? DPE. Additionally, the Mali and Denier can special summon themselves in order to help us link climb or let us tribute summon our Gate Guardian pieces in hand, especially in combination with Magician Souls. Just a small amount of additional bricks for a lot more ceiling. Lastly, we have 3 Nibiru, although I would probably actually swap these out for the evenly matched in the side in a future build, but I've already got the replays. We're going with it, we're going with it, we're going with it. In the extra, we have a lot of stuff we will barely ever make, and then a bunch of fusion monsters. We have 2 of every Gate Guardian combination. Water and Thunder can decrease the attack of an opponent's monster to 0 twice per turn. This is the worst one. Thunder and Wind can add a card that mentions all 3 pieces of the hand. It's mid. Wind and Water can negate a spell trap twice per turn. This one's kind of crazy, actually. All 3 of them can float into banished pieces that are of their fusion materials, which is handy. And then combined is a big bungus and has a thrice per turn negate, which is pretty damn good until you read the part that says it's only for effects that target your cards. It is the easiest to make though, because it can be made with pieces in hand, on field, or in grave, instead of just on field like the smaller ones. Additionally, combine floats into any of the smaller ones, or the OG Gate Guardian if you really want to play jank. Most often though, I'll be using it to float into the good one, Wind and Water. Next we have DPE, probably the best fusion monster out there, maybe tied with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This guy can reduce the attack of opponent's monsters, and more importantly, pops cards on both sides of the field. If it gets destroyed, it can summon itself back during the standby phase, and since it can pop itself with its effect, it'll be happening a lot. We have one Ixies in Big Eye, a rank 7 for all of our level 7s. We won't be able to make this often, but if we do, the ability to steal can really swing things in our direction. Next up is the Link package. Magician's Soul could easily become Relinquished Anima to steal a poorly placed opponent's monster. Stealing, it always comes in handy. We have Pentastag, which can give our big guys piercing damage. Nightmare Phoenix is a spell trap pop. Nightmare Unicorn is a spin back to deck. These two are cool because our Gate Guardian pieces and spell traps are perfect for being discarded. Then of course we have the access code talker to make on top of our Unicorn for a big finisher with a massive attack and non-targeting destruction. Yippee! The side deck contains Pankratops, another level 7 with a neat effect to pop an opponent's monster. It's pretty good, generally, but in this deck it has a little bit of extra synergy. 3 Ash Blossoms for stopping bullshit, Harpy's Feather Duster, and 3 Twin Twister for back row decks. Always gotta have them. Evenly matched. I really want to swap these with Nibiru. It's just a better card in this format, I think. I would make that swap today. 3-dimensional Barrier, a card I hate playing, but it wins games, so we're gonna put it in the side deck. Please don't hate me. I hate it too. And one Solemn Judgment, because we only had one slot left and I decided another going first card wouldn't hurt. So that's the cards that we're playing dealt with. Now I have to discuss what other people play that I've left out of this deck. I've seen a lot of people playing an Ancient Fairy Dragon package using a single Dragon Ravine and a Destrudo. I really don't like it. The idea is you use Dragon Ravine to send Destrudo to grave, then summon Destrudo using Magician Souls, and then use those to make Ancient Fairy Dragon to pop Dragon Ravine and then get out our Labyrinth field spell. It helps increase the ceiling a bit, especially since the field spell is not a once per turn. The problem comes when you draw the package in the wrong order. Dragon Ravine does nothing if you draw Destrudo first. You can summon Destrudo from hand, but it doesn't do anything useful without Dragon Ravine on field to switch for the Labyrinth. All for the slightly more consistent access to Big Eye and Labyrinth, which is already fairly consistent. It just doesn't make sense to me. It feels very YouTube combo. I've also seen people playing Preparation of Rice to search Illusion of Chaos, but I think that only really makes sense when you need Magician Souls to make that Ancient Fairy Dragon. Otherwise, 5 ways to get to it makes plenty of sense, especially mathematically. And finally, I'm not going to play any more of the Gate Guardian spell traps. They're just not that good, and they're searchable. With all that said, and me to blame, let's go watch me play the games. Our first match is in the casual ladder, as usual. Here we have our Gate Guardian support, breaking as usual. We can still do something with this hand, so let's go to it. First, we're going to start with the Illusion of Chaos in order to bait out any of the gates. We don't find any, so we're going to shuffle back that Illusion of Chaos and then activate Magician Souls, sending Kazajin. We get to summon it, then we activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow in order to bring out the last piece. We now have all 3 pieces somewhere in the play, and so we can make combined. We'll pass it back to our opponent, and our opponent is playing Photon. They're playing Photon, and they're going to get Galaxy Soldier. The Galaxy Soldier is going to come down. It's going to get another Galaxy Soldier, and then that Galaxy Soldier is going to come down itself. I guess people are still playing this outside of Duel Links somehow. They're going to make Cyber Dragon Nova and then make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Cyber Dragon Infinity is going to attempt to take Gate Guardian Combined. We're going to negate that since it is a targeting effect, and then they're going to negate us, which is not a targeting effect. So then they'll destroy us. We'll activate our effect though to get back Wind and Water from our extra deck, and then we'll use Wall Shadow to pop their small guy. In the main phase 2, we're going to have to Nibiru here in order to clear the Cyber Dragon Infinity before it is able to negate us again. I don't think we have any way to get rid of it otherwise, so we go ahead and do so. We have successfully Nibiru'd, and we draw a Labyrinth Heavy Tank. We'll activate Magician's Souls to send Kazajin, summon itself, summon the Labyrinth Tank to grab Suijin, That allows us, using Labyrinth Tank's other effect, to pop the token. Then we're able to use Wall Shadow to get back Kazajin. Using those two, we can make Wind and Water once more, and then go to battle to get in a bit of damage. Labyrinth Heavy Tank cannot attack the turn its effect has been used, so we're just going to have to pass back to our opponent. They activate Gallant Sea Trance, we're going to negate it. They activate Trade-In, we're going to negate it. And they're going to surrender. See what I mean? Wind and Water is crazy. Gate Guardian combined, not so much. Our next game is on the ranked ladder. Let's see how we can perform against the meta threats that are on there. Our opponent's going to start with Mermail, Abyss Megalo, and then sending Atlantean Dragoons to get Deep Sea Diva. Not exactly meta, I suppose. They're going to then summon that Deep Sea Diva, activating its effect to grab Niftabyss. They're going to activate that effect to send Atlantean Dragoons yet again, which will allow them to activate Atlantean Dragoons. They'll grab Atlantean Dragoons to hand using the effect, and they're going to grab Deep Sea Minstrel using the effect of Atlantean Dragoons. Then they're going to activate the effect of that to get rid of the Nibiru, which was our saving grace here. Unfortunately, now we have no interaction on their turn. They're going to get Mullen Glacia, they're going to summon Mullen Glacia, and get rid of two of the cards in our hand yet again. They're then going to summon the big Croco Dragon. They're going to link summon Abyss Glacia, and then activate Abyss Scale on it. We're going to draw double attack Wind and Thunder. What a good card. We're going to use Shadow Ghoul to get the Shadow Wall. We're going to activate Wall Shadow, and then they're going to activate the effect of Abyss Glacia to send Atlantean Heavy Infantry, which will then negate Wall Shadow and then pop Wall Shadow. We're going to summon the Heavy Tank. They're going to Croco Dragon, destroying it before we even get to activate the effect, mind you. And we're just going to surrender right there. No need to see them combo off on our turn like that. So that was a pretty embarrassing game 1 against Mermail of all things. But let's see what we could do in game 2 with the knowledge about it. We're going to start, we're going to Illusion of Chaos, grabbing Magician Souls and shuffling back the Illusion of Chaos. Then we're going to Magician Souls, sending Kazajin. We have a Kazajin in hand, but we're just going to do that anyways. We're going to Labyrinth Wall Shadow, activate the effect to grab Sangha the Thunder. Now we have all 3 cards around, but first we're going to use Magician Souls in order to draw a card. Perfect draw, by the way. Fusion Destiny off the top is crazy for us. We're going to go ahead and make Gate Guardian combine and then activate Fusion Destiny. We're going to make Phoenix Enforcer. He's pretty cool. We'll end turn on that, feeling pretty confident. Our opponent then evenly matches. We're going to activate Phoenix Destroyer Enforcer, popping itself in Magician Souls and then banishing the Labyrinth Wall Shadow, knowing that our only hope is to have Gate Guardians combine save us. Luckily, Phoenix Enforcer destroys itself, so that is going to be able to summon back, but they then Gamma Seal our Gate Guardian combined. We are able to get into Gate Guardian of Wind and Water after that, but then they're going to normal summon Deep Sea Diva, which is going to let them get Niftabyss. And then Niftabyss sends Atlantean Sea Dragoons, and then Atlantean Dragoons to hand, and then Atlantean Dragoons activates. And then Mermail Abyss Megalo, and they just keep going, and they just keep going. And none of it is spell effects, so we can't negate any of it. And even if it was Gate Guardians combined, none of it is targeting us, so we can't do anything about it anyways. So we just had to kind of sit here and watch them combo off. Look, they made the Croco Dragon. Isn't that cool? Oh, they made Link Karibo. Oh, they made Mullen Glacia and discarded all our hand. Wow. Is Mermail actually kind of crazy? I mean, in a format full of 1-card starters, I feel like a hand loop is not that powerful. But, you know, making Big Eye seems pretty good. Making Big Eye going into Saryuja, draw a bunch of cards, put a bunch back. Mind Control, take the Gamma Seal, because why not? Why not just take all our monsters? They're going to use Saryuja again. Gonna get some attack points. Gonna make that. Gonna make a bit Bahamut Shark. They're gonna make Toad. Just gonna get everything that they ever could possibly want. And then they don't go to battle because they use the evenly matched. They had already went to battle. We have Dimensional Barrier and Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and then they take Destroy Phoenix Enforcer with a Totally Awesome. And once they do that, and then they start comboing off again, I'm Dunsky. Get me out of here. That performance against Mermail, of all things, was so embarrassing that I decided to give Gate Guardian another shot against another deck in the ranked ladder. So let's see what we can do against this. We start with Shadow Ghoul to get our field spell. Pretty good hand we have here. We're going to Hero Lives, doing 4k in order to get Prisma. We'll activate the Prisma effect, showing the Gate Guardian combined and sending Kazagen. We'll Fusion Deployment, showing the same card and getting the Suijin from hand, so we can make our Negator. We're going to then use the Labyrinth Wall Shadow to get Sangha on the field, and then we can make Gate Guardian combined with all the pieces. Isn't that cool? We actually managed to get both of them on field. Isn't that neat? They're going to activate Spell Power Mastery. We're going to negate it. They're going to activate Pendulum Call. We're going to negate it. That's all our negates, by the way. Allure Darkness. Oh. They banish Jackal King, and then they summon that, and they chronograph, and then it's all pendulum, and my eyes start going cross-eyed, and they make dark, and they try to summon, but I negate that shit because it turns out targeting cards includes in the graveyard. They are trying to summon Shadow Ghoul. Gate Guardian combined can negate that. So I do that, and then they grab Magician's Soul. And they send Endymion. Then they use Spellbook of Knowledge in order to get a couple more cards, and then decide these 2 cards are not enough to win, and they surrender. So that's 1 win for Gate Guardian. Let's go! Going into game 2, they know what we're up to, and let's see if they know how to counter us. We got a decent hand, Elemental Hero Prisma and the Labyrinth Heavy Tank, but they're going first, and they've got Pendulum. So, how you doing? Are you like, you having a good day? I hope this isn't your lunch break. We're gonna be here for a bit. They're just like activating cards and gaining spell counters, and they make Crowley. That's pretty cool, right? The Prophecy plus Endymion is like pretty neat, I guess. Like the synergy that's in there, and making Crowley is kind of neat because it puts the Pendulum cards in the extra deck, and then you can use them. You can summon them back to the 2 zones it points to. That's like pretty neat, right? There's definitely synergy here. They're gonna keep going because Spellbooks is the ultimate draw power engine. And they're gonna make a Pendulum summon, and they're gonna make the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, and they're gonna make more Pendulums, and then they're gonna make Selene, and it's gonna get a shitload of counters, and they're gonna use that to summon back guys, and they're gonna make Borreload, and now their board is loaded up with a shitload of negates and interruptions, and we can't really deal with that very well. We activate Magician's Soul, sending Kazagen. We're gonna summon Elemental Hero Prisma, using its effect. They're gonna choose to negate that shit. We're going to activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow. They're going to choose to negate that shit. Then we're going to make Gate Guardian combined because they can't negate that shit. We're going to walk over Borreload Savage Dragon. We had exactly 50 attack points more than Borreload Savage Dragon, and then we'll pass turn. Now, currently, we have a Big Bungus, which does help protect us. They're going to switch Endymion to attack position. They're going to use Pendulum Call to get a couple more cards, Selene to summon back a dude, and then they're going to make another Selene. I'm very confused at this point until they do a Pendulum summon, and I realize, oh, it was for zones, so that they can make Access Code Talker. Now, the thing about Access Code Talker is that Access Code Talker has a lot of attack points. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed this? The Access Code Talker has a lot of attack points, and also it doesn't target. I don't actually know why they don't go for the effect here. It doesn't target, so the Gate Guardian can't negate it. I think they just didn't know that Gate Guardian only does targeting effects. But you know what it certainly doesn't stop is just walking over it. So they're just going to walk over it. Then they're going to negate the floating effect, which means we have a Magician's Souls and a Prayer. They're going to attack over the Magician's Souls and then go for lethal. Yeah, not really the ultimate boss monster that Gate Guardian is supposed to be, is it? Alright, game 3, and we drew the Malicious. This is the only time we've done it, though. It's really good, I promise. Just play a better package than the Ancient Fairy Dragon package. I promise you it'll go better than trying to make a level 7 synchro from 2011 or whatever. We're gonna go first since we lost that last round. We're gonna Illusion of Chaos. We're gonna grab Magician's Souls. We keep drawing Illusion of Chaos and Magician's Souls at the same time. Don't like that. We're going to A Hero Lives to get Prisma out. Then we're going to activate Prisma's effect. We can send Suijin. We have Sangha in hand, so all we need now is Kazujin in grave. And now we can make Gate Guardian combined. We're going to use those two to make Pentastag to give it piercing damage. Really just to get them off field. I don't want them to run over a Prisma to do even more damage to us while we're on 4,000 life points. So we're just going to pass it back with Pentastag and Gate Guardian combined and hope for a good sign. They're going to give us a couple life points back, and then they're going to start penduluming. They're going to summon out almost their whole hand. Just, it's so much. And then they're going to make Celine, and Celine's going to be there. They can activate Called By. We're going to try and negate the Called By just because. Like, obviously they're doing it for some reason. We try to negate it, and then they negate us, which destroys us. Did you know that negating doesn't target? Did you know that negating doesn't target? We're going to activate the effect to float into our wind and water. They're going to try to activate the effect of their pendulum scale, but it turns out pendulum scales count as spell effects. So we're going to negate that shit. Then they're going to make, what else? Access Code Talker. They're going to fucking destroy us. And then we're going to make Suijin. Now, have you read Suijin? Real quick. Have you read Suijin? It's an old card, so you might not have read it. Very rarely used in any deck. I think we're the only ones that have used it in like 20 years. Once face up on the field, during damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, quick effect, you can target the attacking monster, make that target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. Let's see if our opponent knows that. Oh! They don't seem to know it, and so they're going to lose their access code talker. They'll pass back to us. We get the Shadow Ghoul off the top. We're going to activate that, get the Labyrinth Shadow, activate that. Then we're going to activate its effect, put the Kazujin on the field, and get our Spell Negator, with piercing damage no less. We're going to activate the effect of Magician's Souls, summoning it, and then making Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn is going to shuffle back Endymion. We're going to use the effect of Mali that we discarded off of Nightmare Unicorn in order to summon Malicious. It's actually good to play them, I promise you. Look at this. We're going to make our own access code talk. They surrendered before we could make the access code talker. Well, we won one. We won a best of 3 against the tier 1 meta threat, Endymion Pendulum. Yeah, I mean, the deck's fine, I guess. So that's the deck. As you can see, the deck is fairly consistently able to make the fusion monsters, but their power level isn't really high enough. A really good hand can set up a powerful board, but the level of bricks we're playing in the Gate Guardian cards alone means that we just won't see those kind of powerful hands very often. You can also add other packages to increase the ceiling on this deck, like the Fusion Destiny package or the Ancient Fairy package, but they significantly decrease the consistency. If you draw Destrudo and not Dragon Ravine, you've lost the entire purpose of the Ancient Fairy Dragon package and the card in hand. This is not the end for Gate Guardian though. Gate Guardian is surprisingly splashable, and I've come up with several progressively worse builds, smashing the Gate Guardian cards together with other archetypes. I hope you enjoy them. The deck is by no means awful, but it's certainly not great. It seems to sit in the Infernoid zone, where if you run hot, you can make it the top cut, but if you don't really convert at all. I'm sure you'll see it at your locals though, so make sure you're prepared. And I'll see ya in the next one. And so we've reached the end of another deck profile. If you liked it, why don't you give it a like, maybe share it around, maybe subscribe to the channel. You can find all my other deck profiles here, as well as other Yu-Gi-Oh content I do, like my signature series, 3 Shots to Duel. You can also find other non-Yu-Gi-Oh content here, and if you want more of that, you can also follow me on Twitch and Twitter, where I stream and post respectively. You can find that through my card, where you can also find the ways to support the channel, including direct and indirect ways, such as my TCG Player affiliate link, where you can get all the singles, sealed product, and accessories that you want, all supporting the channel at the same time. You can even get all the cards you saw in the deck profile here if you want to try out this deck at your locals. If you do, make sure to tell me about it in the comments below. With all that said though, I hope to see you in the next one. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful rest of whatever time it is for you. Bye!